Hey guys, Negative Photo here, and this is gonna be the first video here in this channel. So I have my main channel, ZPOLT, Zpolt, and that will be my kind of tech and audio channel. So sineparate ko siya, the photography thing here, because I think this is a whole new monster altogether. So I need a new channel for that, and Negative Photo YouTube channel is, for that same reason. So I am super duper passionate about cameras and photography, and nag-overflow yung thoughts ko, so that's why I needed to make this channel to share my thoughts to you guys. Today we're gonna talk about, I think, one of, or maybe the most underrated Fuji lens. This is the 18f2, and I have been using this for 1.5 to 2 years, I think, for majority of my Fuji life. And I super duper like this. This is my most used lens, and I think it's the most underrated lens in the Fuji lineup. We're gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna share with you guys why I think each Fujifilm user should have one. Alright, so first things first, yes, I have been using this for 2 years, and I've been using it for both photography and videography. So we're gonna talk about those two here in this video. So first, why I super duper like this is because of the focal length. I am like a Q shooter, so this is a 28mm equivalent, and I super duper like the Leica focal length. For street photography, it's definitely something versatile. You can shoot wide enough, and also you can go in and then shoot some portraits also. So meron pa ring bokeh with that kind of focal length, especially in the 28. I think that's kind of the max. 24 is kind of too wide now for me. 28 is not so bad. You can still do some portraits. I'm also a 35 shooter, so 28 and 35, those are kind of my money focal lengths, but 28 is kind of the widest for me. And 18f2 in aps-c times 1.5 is 28mm, so it's kind of right smack in the same focal length as the Leica Q, and this is the only focal length in that 18mm that Fuji makes. So basically, when I'm shooting this both, they're kind of in the same focal length, and I really like that kind of focal length with the 18f2. When you come close to your subject, so parang you feel that you're there. So that kind of feeling, it's a different kind of feeling. It has some distortion when you really get close. So you have that feeling that the person is really there with you. So that is not the feeling that I'm getting when I'm shooting with my 56 1.2. So medyo far yung feeling niya. Ito parang it's, you feel that you're there, and it's a kind of different emotion that you're getting with that kind of focal length pag medyo wide and you're doing some street photography. So environmental portraits, really nice on this. For videography naman, again, this is also wide enough for vlogging. So I've been using this in my studio as an A-cam for almost a year now, and I really like the image that I'm getting here. So meron siyang slight blur when you're shooting it as an A-cam. Di siya like, super duper blur because it's still an f2 lens. Di siya like ito, this is 1.4. So this is more blurry, more bokeh-licious compared to the 18f2. But sometimes for YouTube videos, you don't need a lot of bokeh, because sometimes, ito tingnan nyo, but when I do thing like this, it's already out of focus. So I do like that f2. That's kind of the max for me. Actually 2.8 to f2. Usually I put the 18f2 to 2.8, but f2 is enough to get that bokeh and still have that DOF with you. So I do like that, and the focus here is also fast enough for YouTube use also. So 18f2, nice focal length for YouTube, and also use this for vlogging as well. So yeah, that kind of focal length is very versatile for me. I'm a super duper fan of this focal length. Next is, as you guys can see, it's the size. Look at how small the 18f2 is. It is super duper small. It is one of their smallest lenses in the Fujifilm lineup. So when you compare it to the Leica Q, definitely it's smaller compared to the Q. Actually, with the lens hood in the 18f2, it's sort of similar to the Leica Q. So tingnan nyo pag this one, X Pro versus Leica Q. they are close. So I really like the size here. Siyempre, in terms of street photography, you like to be as stealthy as possible. I call that threat. The bigger camera you have, the higher threat you have. So sa mga WoW players dyan, so threat, that's what I call them. And having a smaller camera gives you less threat. So I did some street photography in some areas before, and the security guards are looking at us because we have big cameras. So the smaller cameras we have, the less attention we have, especially when we're shooting, and sometimes we are several people shooting. So that is a nice size for that. So ito, hindi siya mukhang sobrang nakakatakot. And sometimes when you want to go closer to your subject, something like the Leica Q also, hindi siya super laki na parang, uy, professional. So it doesn't have that kind of feeling with the 18f2. So yes, the size is for street photography, yes. For vlogging outside, so I have used this with my X-T20, not with the X Pro 2, but with my X-T20 for vlogging with the Manfrotto Pixie and super duper light kit, and I super duper like that. So when I was vlogging with this outside, you still had that kind of bokeh because f2 siya. So that's nice that you have that kind of quality. Outside, it doesn't have OIS though, so that's why for vlogging outside I don't use this that much. You can use it, which is nice, but I still prefer OIS when I'm outside. But you can, so that's nice. And they have a super duper small kit, very very nice size. It's kind of a take anywhere. And when you're buying Fuji, you're also of course considering the size in your purchase, because this aps-c, you could have gone for a full frame. But this just tells what the mirrorless Fuji is all about, having that compact size pero professional quality, and this kind of embodies that for me. So size, really really nice here with the 18f2, super duper fan of the size. Okay, next, third reason is actually the AF speed. So before, when I was getting the 18f2, of course from the reviews, sabi nila slow and not very good autofocus, but when I used this, actually used it, I find it to be really good, especially for my use case. Of course, it's not the same as my Canons, hindi siya parehas ng mga sports, but this is definitely fast enough. I have used some lenses that are slower than this, and I also do use manual focus, so maybe I'm not the best person to ask about AF. AF is not super duper big deal for me. For me, it's more important to make the image than shoot like 10 FPS per second. So I'm not into that. I'm more into framing and getting the perfect shot. That's kind of the thing for me. And the AF here is fast enough. So for street shooting, for candid street shooting, I find it enough. Definitely not as fast as the Leica Q, but this is definitely enough for most usage, especially on street. Also, for video, AF is a bit noisy, but I do use an external microphone. It's actually recording me right now here, so I don't mind the noise. It's not that noisy. I mean, I have used Canon lenses before that are noisy. This is not like that. This is just okay noisy. So AF speed for me, very usable. So this is enough in terms of the AF speed. Is not lacking at all. And next, fourth and maybe the most important is the image quality that I'm getting from this. So this is not the sharpest lens that I own, but definitely this is sharp enough, especially for my usage. You can even print with the 18f2. So in f2, actually, especially for I have mentioned that I use it as an A cam. It's definitely sharp enough. It's shooting my face most of the time, and I can even see my imperfections in my face. So that kind of tells me that it's sharp enough. And for all my daily usage, especially in street photography, I didn't have an issue even shooting at f2. It's better actually in 2.8 and even in f4. So if you're kind of critical with the ultimate sharpness, maybe stop down to 2.8. That's a little bit better sharpness, but f2 is sharp enough, and you can even print on it. So kung di ka lang like pixel peeper, I'm not really a super duper pixel peeper. It's definitely sharp enough for me. And yeah, the image quality that you're getting here, especially for that small package, is super duper nice. So IQ definitely is very usable with the 18F2. Okay, and last but not the least, and maybe the most important for you guys, is this is not very expensive. So this is just under $400. You can even get this used for $250. So mga 10.5k pesos, 12k pesos. Very, very nice price for something like this. You know, some actually I think I already mentioned it. This is my most used lens because I use it as an A cam for, you know, my channel. I use this when I go outside for street photography. I use this when I go vlogging. So parang I think 70% of the time this is my most used lens, and this is actually my cheapest lens. So that's kind of funny. That's why it's kind of funny for me that some people don't like the 18F2. So I think it's that underrated, but it's, you know, one of the most usable lens in their lineup. And yeah, for that kind of price range, $300, $250, there's a lot that you can do with the 18F2. So for those owners of the 18F2, definitely don't be afraid to use it outside, even if it's a cheap lens, because it's a very high quality lens in the Fuji 18F2. So price here, a really great value. Actually, Fuji makes great value stuff across the range. So this is, I think, one of the best values that you can get with the Fuji. Alright, so that is mostly my top 5 things. Major issues here, definitely for me, it's more of the AF sound. It's kind of a bit noisy for me, but you know, I have used this for vlogging. Di naman siya like super duper issue. Compared to the Fuji X70, that's super noticeable for me because may external mic naman ako that I'm using. So if you're using internal mic and you know, the AF here might be annoying, but if you're using an external mic, wala namang issue. Of course, this doesn't have also OIS. I wish this has OIS. All the Fuji Primes doesn't have OIS, so yes, I wish we will see that in the future. But if this has OIS, you know, perfect vlog cam for me, especially with the size. Yeah, that's mostly my biggest issues here. F2 is open enough for me, so wala naman ako issues dun. And yeah, that is mostly the 18F2. So, and actually, I didn't mention pogi din siya. Ganda na itsura. Look at that. Kind of looks like, you know, a film camera. Anyways, X Pro 1. That is my take on the 18F2. It's the most underrated lens. It's my most used lens, but it's my cheapest lens. So I would definitely recommend you guys getting one. And you'll be surprised on, you know, the versatility and the usability, and also the image quality that you're gonna get with the 18F2. So that is my video. Of course, if you learned something, leave a like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. I will do some street photography vlogs also here in the channel, and also camera reviews. So hopefully I can see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.